Grand evening, everyone. It is Friday, May 22nd, 2026. It is 1700 hours and 30 minutes Central Daylight Time. That's when this started. And we have further developments recently. We have quite a few new developments and news to talk about. Things are massively escalating and intensifying as expected. At any moment, there will be far more activity than there has been in recent days. So, in the coming moments, hours, days, there will be, as soon as the coming hours, at any moment, there could be massive intensification when it comes to this war. So, the alert level is at a maximum right now, and countries are preparing to do further attacks, especially Iran and the US. We'll talk about that all here tonight and more. So, this is interesting here. The US Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, she resigned. She was okay at the job. It's very arguable about her and how she did and what she did in that position and her time in politics overall. And then we have this here. Iran says it is preparing for resumption of war and now has a new and specific way to target the US and its allies. On top of that, Iran has further threatened, and they are escalating by closing their airspace in western Iran. So their airspace is closed until at least Monday in western Iran. That is likely for missile deployment and drone deployment from western Iran, especially near their capital, Tehran. Then we have President Trump preparing to invade Cuba and go after Raul Castro as the justification. I think we talked about that last time. We have an aircraft carrier right outside of Cuba. Things are being prepared for that. We've had a lot of sub hunters, the Boeing P-8 Poseidons. Those are sub hunter planes flying off the coast of Cuba the last few days at least. And there have been several of them doing that, and the patrols and the targeting in that area. So things are massively escalating and intensifying. And as for Ebola, that is becoming the next pandemic. It has the highest potential out of the two, hantavirus and Ebola. So we could see Ebola become the next true pandemic like the last one, except that is far more dangerous. And there's even news and reports about Ebola being airborne, so it has mutated or it was made that way to be airborne and it has transmission that way. So a nightmarish disease is out there right now. when it comes to Ebola. That is worse than the hantavirus. The symptoms are worse. It has a higher lethality, and now it is airborne and infecting many people all throughout the world. We have at least 40% of the oil and lubricants about to be out in this country. That's enough to cause collapse, really. Everything will just stop working without oil after a short time. No oil and lubricants to operate the machinery. And that's going to cause a potentially collapse in itself. The shortage of that and not being enough. And then we have the gas shortages continuing and increasing as well. And then Iran could even target that pipeline near, I think it's Saudi Arabia, which is producing about 7 million barrels of oil per day. And that is also somewhat keeping the price of oil down and keeping production more of where it needs to be, which even 7 million barrels of oil does not last very long, though it is helping overall. It is helping the world overall, that pipeline. It is one of the only ways oil is being moved and produced in the world right now, especially in the Middle East. So the stockpiles are running out of the oil, and then there's becoming more shortages, put simply, of oil and gas, and it is increasing as time goes on, and the price of oil is going to absolutely skyrocket when Iran decides to further retaliate on the oil refineries. They've threatened to destroy all of the oil refineries in the Middle East and that very pipeline I just mentioned. So that will soon bring the price of gas to $10 per gallon or more. There will be a continuing of oil and gas shortages as time goes on. And we are yet to see in the coming hours, potentially, as soon as the coming hours, the invasion on Cuba can begin. So that's why that aircraft carrier is there. That is why the sub hunters have been looking in the area. And we can't forget that there's a possibility of a Russian submarine off of East Florida. We have doomsday planes up in the air now, the E-6Bs. And President Trump didn't even go to his, I think one of his sons are getting married, and he's staying in the White House at this time and not going out from there. That's how intense it is right now. And there are further intensifications about to happen. This weekend is setting up to be truly maximum alert and off the charts. As for intensification, it's been somewhat quiet for the ceasefire and all that. Everything is going to ramp up far beyond where it even was before. It is going to be far more intense, exponentially more intense as time goes on. And then we have, in further news, the Russians are preparing to do an invasion on the Baltic states. It looks like Latvia. I heard a report that they've sent drones into some of the Baltic states. I think it was Latvia. And then Russia is also preparing to invade, to occupy the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv. And they almost have full control of the Donbass region and all of Russia's resources that Europe, so all of Ukraine, that Donbass area. So Russia is about to have control, full control of Ukraine's resources and the capital of Ukraine, Kyiv, which Europe relies on. So Europe is about to have a very serious problem as well. It will affect Europe and those areas far more than here before it reaches here domestically in the United States. Though in the coming months, I expect the price of gas, even here in the US, after the summer, I would say it'll be $7 or $8 per gallon by the end of the summer. And then by the end of the year, it'll be $10 or more per gallon for gas. It'll be impossible to really drive anywhere because it'll be $10, $12 per gallon. And then the shortage of lubricants, the oil and the motor oil, the lubricants for machinery, especially vehicles, could be totally out. And it will be far more by the end of the year. So the winter holidays around that time are looking to be very different than they have been for a long time. Uh, it will be worse than the Great Depression in the first months of 2027 is expected to be around the time of the collapse. The total collapse will be around then, the first months of 2027, if not before. We are yet to fight the Russians more directly. That is coming up soon. And the Chinese also, that is coming up soon. When it comes to Taiwan, it will not be left undefended. Even though President Trump is somewhat hesitant now, it's not going to be left undefended, and he's not going to side with China on that. So please keep on preparing, and also like and comment on this video and subscribe to my channel. This is initially a live stream recording as always, and it will be posted to my YouTube channel once it is done, and it will also be posted right here on X. Please keep on preparing overall and physically, mentally, and spiritually. I will be back Sunday or Monday, potentially both, with further news and personal analysis recommendations, all of that and more. It is getting far more intense now, and this weekend we are going to see a lot more intensification. As always, love, light, and blessings to you all.